to every single citizen of the country. Welcome once again to the program. It is Mainland Focus. I'm Sage Babalola. Fuhad Saheed will be joining us very briefly to once again speak on the matters that have been selected for conversation on Mainland Focus. Also be aware that we're also streaming this segment of the program on our social media platform, Facebook, YouTube specifically. Mainland 98.3 FM is how you find us on social media. For Facebook specifically, it's facebook.com/Mainland 98.3 FM. Well, to the story for conversation this morning on Mainland Focus, of course, we're talking about the arrest and the release of JᴏɪＲ, the NLC president, and all the outrage that have trailed that particular incident. And of course, we'll be talking about the reality when it comes to the oil sector, the supply of PMS, and most importantly, the pricing of the commodity. Well, as regards to JᴏɪR's arrest and release and all the trials or the outrage that have trailed that particular arrest, and also the DSS invasion of the SERAP office, the conversation really is around the practice of democracy and the implementation of the law. At least over the space of 3 months, we've seen an invasion of the NLC offices, an invasion of the SERAP office. We've seen arrest of journalists. We've seen the prosecution of protesters and charges that some might describe as extremely severe. And now we're asking, what exactly is the law saying, or what does the law provide when it comes to dissenting voices? Isn't that the basis of democracy? 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, a constitution that allows for individuals to disagree with those at the helm of affairs. Yet we see individuals being punished for not agreeing with the government. Security agencies claim that they are maintaining law and order, but civil society organizations claim that it is a complete and blatant disregard for the rights of individuals, or of the rights of individuals. So what do you make, first of all, of the development, especially regarding JᴏɪR's arrest and release? Also, what do you make of the reasoning that this is an attempt to silence dissenting voices in the country? And also, how troubling or what sort of interference do you think this continued practice would have on democracy or the interpretation of democracy in the country? That's one of the stories for conversation this morning. And then secondly, about the conversation around PMS and the increase in the landing cost of the commodity from 1,117 naira to 1,120 naira, and the fears that marketers have that this would ultimately lead to a further increase in the pump price of the commodity, and they might need to revert to importing the product if that seems to be the cheaper option, whilst we're waiting for the price that would be released by the Dangote refinery, and all the controversy that is surrounding their relationship with the NNPC and the desire to cause the NNPC to be the primary off-taker of the product. A lot of confusion, but we're asking, what would you say is the way out, or what would be the solution to this confusion that we're confronted with? Affordability and supply. Would you rather the product is readily available and you are made to pay high cost, or the product should be available and it should also be affordable? Let's hear from you. But before then, let's talk very briefly to Fuhad. Fuhad, thank you for being on standby. Good morning again.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Sage. Well, on JᴏɪR, SERAP, DSS, again, we have to protect this democracy with everything we've got. Again, like I told you, we have 5 levels of checks and balances in any functional democracy, gone beyond the established 3. And if every other thing fails, then you're talking about anarchy, really. I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also has to understand that it's better to have dissenting opinions who make their dissatisfaction known in public than to push people into the trench. It then becomes more problematic. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we can never talk about a functional democracy without an active, organized labor and a very vibrant civil society organization. And I think that for our security operatives, there are more important issues that they can begin to focus on. If this attempt, or what we're seeing now, is just an attempt to impress the president, now that we have a new DSS director, we have a new person with the NIA, people are still being killed, people are still being abducted, kidnapping is still widespread. So I would have thought that should be their focus, is bring down the numbers drastically, go after the criminals, let's begin to see them face the music. So with that, Nigerians will now begin to say, oh, okay, this new appointment is working, things are changing. But I also think that, look, we need to tell the president that, look, what we knew of him in the past was his record as a pro-democracy activist. Who had also benefited from, being able to ventilate dissenting opinions to government policies and ideas. Because again, if Jᴏɪᴜ asks questions to answer, I think it should be handled in a better way. The last time out, after all of the dust that was raised, he spent less than 30 minutes or so and he was left to go. And I told you before, this is not the first time we have seen security operators coming up with charges of terrorism finance. The same thing happened with Mayfield. And with that, there's nothing against that, other than the corruption cases that they are dragging with it. But on that issue, we did not hear anything. So it's very important that, again, we pay attention to these things. If we are all committed to saving this democracy, whether you are in government or outside government, you are a labor leader or a civil society organization member, or whether you are partisan or non-partisan, we have agreed to work as a democratic state, and we have to protect it in everything we do. So again, it is important that the president reins in our security operatives. To be better behaved, not more important to the issue of national security than Jᴏɪᴜ or Sarah. And again, we have to continue to commend Sarah for what they are doing, getting us thinking, opening our minds to these issues, going to court. That's a fantastic civil society organization that we must continue to encourage for what they are doing. People have said they don't win cases. They don't have to win cases. What they are doing in terms of opening the minds of Nigerians to these issues is commendable. And we have to continue to support them and defend them to survive. And even more organizations like that. For the sake of our democracy. Nobody is bigger than Nigeria's democracy, you think. Because presidents will come and presidents will go. Nigeria will have to remain. So we have to save this democracy. We can't go back to the darkness of the military. Never. God forbid. And so if we agree that this democracy must survive, everything that we do must be to the protection, desperate protection of this democracy. And then for the issue of the oil sector, I'm going to call on the president. He has to fix it. And basically what Nigerians are demanding for. And a lot of people that voted for it, I'm sure. Because he said it on the campaign trail. Then look, the product will be available and it will be affordable. And that's what the president should do. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Fuad. Let's hear what people have to say regarding these matters. Remember, we're talking about the controversy that is trailing the price and the availability of PMS at this time, with Dangote Refinery, with the marketers looking to their foreign partners for importation, and also the recent price increase or price hike by the NNPC to around 857 naira for the commodity per litre. We're also talking about the recent arrest and the release of Jᴏɪᴜ, which has sort of opened the portal to conversations around the reaction or the crisis management mechanism of this particular administration when it comes to dissenting voices and opposition or opinions that are contrary to the policies that they have for the nation at this time. But before I start taking the most recent contributions that we have right now, open the phone lines, please permit me to take the previous messages that we got at the start of the day. I always promise to read these messages, and I would need you to give me just a few minutes to make good of that promise. All right. Well, we had Christopher F. Young on Facebook who sent a message and says, "Good morning, Sage and Fuad. God bless you guys. Are we still running a democracy in Nigeria? I strongly believe so. Please, Mr. President should protect this country with all manner of care and seriousness. He should not allow the great country Nigeria to collapse under his watch. The president knows that no individual is greater than the country. Not even cabals, cartels, or mafia can be greater than Nigeria. Himself and every other Nigerians have a role to play when it comes to the protection of the country. Tomorrow, he may not be there again. So he should do the right thing. If any individuals violates the law of the land, then due processes should follow. For what happened to Jᴏɪᴜ and the DSS, how will an international community look at us as a country? To me, it's a shame. Please don't let this repeat itself again. God bless Nigeria." Thank you very much for your message, Christopher. We have Onotoye Michael who says, "Hello Milan FM. It's unfortunate, shameful and highly ridiculous that the president, who has always condemned military rule, has now used his lifetime to clamor for good governance through having a democratic rule, which is supposed to be the best form of government because it's a government of the people, by the people and for the people, can come up with such actions that can be termed as intimidation. Following the frequent arrest of the NLC president by the DSS, the president should tread with caution because even under military administration, the intimidation is not as bad as what we have right now. The proposed bill by the Chief Justice of the Federation that looters can no longer be pardoned is good, but it should be extended to those that are tagged as terrorists or those who call themselves repentant Boko Haram. God bless Nigeria. Timtayo Notoi from Ijagamo community, thank you. Benjamin Ise, says, good morning, Sage and Mr. Fuad. President Tinubu should call the DSS to order before they turn the people against his government. If he's innocent of the actions of the DSS, there are a lot of battles to fight by the DSS. Yahaya Bello is ready to be arrested in order for him to explain the allegation of looting of the Kogi State Treasury. There's kidnapping all over the nation and it's a big battle for the DSS to fight. The president should explain to Nigerians as a Minister of Petroleum why there's a sudden increase in the price of PMS at a time when Dangote Refinery is about rolling out fuel for the public to buy. Benjamin from Shogunle there with a question. Tujukwa Thompson says, look, there is no best way of managing. What determines the approach are circumstances surrounding the managed. Therefore, the caution given to the people's opinions of character of those currently in power in a bid to ensure compliance to the media's code of conduct, even if it is necessary, may not be expedient. My suggestions: protests have been banned. The people are being gagged. Can't the people begin to pillory the character in power in any language they deem fit? Can they begin to boycott every interview, talk invitation, ceremonies granted by the annoying character? Tojukwa Adili Thompson from Obanikoro. Okay, I'm a little lost on your suggestion though. We have Umundu Austin who says, I laugh when I hear people say that we're not earning enough foreign exchange and that's why our currency is devalued. We're not producing enough or we're not exporting enough and blah, blah, blah. All of this is considered pure lie. He actually wrote blah, blah, blah. I didn't make that up. The dollars we earn from crude oil alone is more than all the foreign exchange earned by many countries of the world. That's excluding the foreign exchange we earn from other products, including diaspora remittances. But other countries with lesser foreign exchange did not float their currencies. Their politicians are not stockpiling the dollars. If the end dollar is exclusively reserved for trade and essential trips and utilized prudently, our earned foreign exchange is far enough for the country. End the floating of the naira, fix the exchange rate. Somebody is manipulating the exchange rate, wakes up in the morning and does what he likes, and that will be the figure that everybody uses for the day. How did the manipulator arrive at this daily dollar rate? Nigeria is a joke. All right, we have another make it work until we go back to regional government, where each region will be allowed to operate on its own pace. Senegal is using it and it's working perfectly for them. Nigeria is too big for one man in Aso Rock to control the activities of the whole 36 states. I swear to God, our leaders know this, but they don't want it because the masses will be able to know exactly what is happening in their region. May God save poor Nigerians from all of these leaders. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, Mr. Lukman from Senegal. Thank you for your interest in the conversation. All right, let's go now to phone calls. 0913-6000-410. That's the phone line. WhatsApp and text messages 0913-6000-430. It's 2 minutes for every conversation. We're talking PMS and we're also talking about the implementation of our democratic laws. Hello. You're live. Good morning to you. Okay, call back. Please do call back. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, sir.
Yes, my name is Shola.
All right. Go ahead, please.
I'm calling in from Egbeda.
Okay.
Yes, and here we are. The case, let's start with Ajero. The government will not say that, let me be particular. President Tinubu won't say that he doesn't know about all this hounding down of dissenting voices. And you see now that if they don't want any form of protest from the people, for how long is it not? Such person would have watchdog. All of them are quiet. Coming to the petroleum issue, we can see, based on what Mr. Fuhad said, I was just wondering what's going on in the NNPC, what's going on in the oil sector, what is the motive behind all these things? I was able to deduce from what he said that these people still want to continue importing fuel from that refinery in Malta. So this boils down to the fact that there is personal interest over national interest. The government is our common enemy. President Tinubu should go and face the insecurity, the DSS, whatever they are doing now, is against the people, funding innocent people. Meanwhile, Tūģi and all,
thank you.
They are still fomenting trouble. Thank you so much.
All right, have a beautiful day. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Yeah, this is Giz calling from Kitchen.
All right.
I have always said over and over again. Fuhad, good morning.
Yes,
I have always said over and over again that in Nigeria these days, you have freedom of speech, but freedom after speech is not guaranteed. And we would keep saying to ourselves that is this really a democracy that we're running? Because if you have a different view, you are considered a national threat, because they will charge you with treason. Whereas those who are actually wielding AK-47s and disturbing the peace of the nation can even display the funds they receive from kidnapping and banditry on TikTok, and nothing is done about them. So that is where we find ourselves. And for Jᴏɪṛ, I don't want to be mean by saying I don't pity the NLC, or I don't pity Jᴏɪṛ, because if Jᴏɪṛ is telling us that we signed an agreement, we did this, we did that. If you sign an agreement, for crying out loud, this is not 1978, where maybe there was a gun to your head to sign an agreement. If you sign an agreement with the presidency or with the president that they were not going to increase the prices of pump price, show us the agreement, show us the document you signed. I don't know if so, but you can't show us any document. You are going around ranting around saying you signed a document, you will shut down, you will shut down. We are tired of hearing you will shut down. Shut down, let's see whether you shut down. It's as simple as that. Then for the pump price, it's more like they've turned the country into a circus. They've turned it into a game. They are playing us around, they've turned the Nigerian populace into a ball, and we are in the center of the field, which you kick us to the left, you kick us to the right. Because people are still suffering. There is no improvement of life and of the citizens, and they are still buying the fuel through our noses. So what is the story all about? If you want to fix the country, fix the country. If you want the pump price to be reduced, Tʀᴇɪᴅs said he has fuel. I like to come to the market. Why are we dancing around the bush? So that's what I have to say this morning. Have a great day, Sandra.
A better one. Hello, good morning. Oh, I think the connection is a little bad. I apologize. The volume on your radio, please. Good morning.
Yeah, the radio is gone. Babalola, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. 𝐴𝐻𝐿 from Somalia.
Welcome.
Now, Mr. Babalola, we copy democracy from America. Is this how they practice it there? If we finally discover that what we copy from them, we cannot practice the way they practice. You see, now we have found new friends in China. Then can we also copy the pattern of governance in China and bring that one here? Tinubu is in China. Let him ask the Chinese president or prime minister, whatever they call them. How do you take care of your people? How do you rule your people? How do you govern your people? And bring that one here. But because I know that in China, if you steal government property, sorry, your life is gone. Can we bring that one here? How come even Jesus Christ, according to my Bible, was mindful of what the people will say? And he told the disciples, go and find out what do people say about me. He wanted to know what is the other side of the people reaction or people perception of him. And he needed to know. If Tinubu feels that nobody should say anything against him, and he doesn't bother to think about what people say about him, he's falling over. I can tell him that. Because when we fought in 1993 that the military should go, they should give a power to Abiola that won the election, Tinubu went abroad, they said they were fighting for democracy. Is this what he was fighting for? If they tell us that democracy is the government of the people, for the people and by the people, if you are doing things that the people say we don't like it, and you keep doing it, and the people say we don't want you, why can't you go? Why can't you leave? If you cannot provide what people want, and then you say you want to force your will on people, and they say they don't want, must you cram them in jail? Must you become a dictator? Must you rule the people this way? I think Tinubu should do us a service of knowing that if he cannot abide by the tenets of democracy, he should quit. We say we don't want military rule. Why is he practicing military tenets in democracy? That's just what I want to say. First, is this a democracy? Is it still better than the military rule?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Peter. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for calling. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, this is about to do from the
Okay.
Yeah. Madam, you are talking of the rule of law, right? And my question is that, do you think we really have the rule of law in this country? This country that we find ourselves. Is rule of law is still existing at all? Right? What is happening now is that the jungle has really matured, and they have really matured. The people that told us that they will snatch, they will grab, and they will run away with it. They now found themselves in the corridor of power, right? Now they have every power, they have everything to do whatever they want to do. What is happening now? It's just towards 2027, right? They will throw everything to it. They will do everything to make sure that they create a problem for people, right? And we were in this country together, especially this Lagos. What happened in 2023, where people were some people,
We cannot exactly hear you. We can't hear you. There's an interruption with your connection.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you hearing me now? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Are you here? Hello?
Please try to call back. I would really, really love if you're able to call back. I'll give you back your time, all right? Please call back so you can participate. This is Mainland Focus on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. We're having a conversation about the arrest and the release of JᴏɪR. Also, we're having a conversation about PMS, what the price would be. Especially product from the Dangote refinery, the collaboration that is supposed to happen between the NNPCL and Dangote refinery, and the kind of influence this is going to have on how much the commodity will cost in the long run is also something we're reasoning about this morning. And the decision of the marketers to turn to their foreign partners to import the product if domestic pricing is not suitable at this time. So basically they're going for the cheaper option, but then we have to wait for the pricing of the Dangote products before we can determine which is cheaper. Pricing that is not available yet because apparently FEC is supposed to be responsible or supposed to be a part of the price determination process. All right. I would like us to also bear in mind as we further analyze this JᴏɪR situation that usually when you are the subject of an investigation, you are not allowed to leave the state without informing security operatives. Whether or not JᴏɪR informed the security operatives that he would be going for a congress outside the country, we don't have that information. Why exactly the security operatives picked up JᴏɪR, we don't have the information. We don't know if it's because he's leaving the country without informing them, or if they have more questions for him regarding the charges that have been leveled against him. So I just want us to bear all of these factors in mind as we analyze moving forward. Our job literally is to provide all the facts to you, and then you determine how you choose to interpret these facts, and then we open the phone lines, open our social media platforms for you to contribute. Also, we've seen security operatives say that the arrest of these protesters, the arrest of certain individuals over the last couple of months is because these individuals are suspected to be involved in subversion or threats to trample on this administration, or they are threats to law and order in the country. And well, as a security operative, if these threats have been made known to you by means of intelligence, they are expected to swing into action. So will these considerations maybe influence your thoughts about how they have decided to discharge their duties with the arrest of these individuals, including JᴏɪR? Let's hear what you have to say. 0913-6000-410. The WhatsApp line is 0913-6000-430. It's the same one for text messages as well, for those of you who don't have access to WhatsApp. I'll do a few WhatsApp messages and then I will go back to the phones. We have here, please, okay. Achonu Solomon from Ikeja says, with the recent happenings, including the arrest of Jᴏɪṛ, the raid and the besiegement of SERAP offices and that of PDOM, the information about the MOU signed with the Voice of China, etc., it seems Nigeria is in for it and already having a bit of military-like experiences. Remember, there was no single protest besides NSAS all through the tumultuous 8 years of Buhari. It's only the SERAP that was speaking and going to court to challenge the activities, let's say that, of the government. Nigerians, for reasons unknown, continue to keep mute. Anyway, the opposing voices are successfully being suppressed. The country is gone. Turji Bello and the rest are setting up a pseudo-government, but the government is intimidating those that are suffocating. What single thing has improved under the 1 year plus of this administration is damages beyond repairs, including preventable death as a result of the inability to afford medication. This administration does not surprise me at all. All right. More messages on WhatsApp from Steve in Ijanikin, who says, please let them arrest all the NLC officials in the country. They should arrest everyone in SERAP, detain everyone that does not agree with how the money is being used to pay the super lawmakers superlative amount, keep all the protesters in permanent detention and buy jet. They should build mansions for the vice president and so on. In doing this, the economy would improve and our hunger would disappear. Plenty of fuel will be made available in filling station and transportation will be affordable. Security would also be superb. Our democracy would be number one in the world as the giant of Africa. However, time will surely tell and they do not know what the time will dictate. Nigerians, I'm sorry for you. Steve from Ijaniki with a very sarcastic message there. Thank you very much for your message, though. Good morning, Mainland Radio. The president is advised to step up and do the needful now that he's the president and also the minister of petroleum. This shenanigans should stop, and also the inconsistencies that are going on within the oil industry. Nigeria did not vote for Mele Kyari, Tuko, or this cabal that are bent on solidifying their corrupt tendencies. All this Maradona approach by NNPC and Dangote will soon hit the rocks, and subsequently, Nigerians will be worse for it when they come up with an outrageous price list. Ajero, the Labour leader, has no immunity. He should learn to obey the law of the land. If you're invited by security agency, don't ignore them. The resultant effect and the embarrassment that will follow may not be palatable. He should tread softly, and the security agencies themselves should be soft. Finally, all said and done, Alhaji Remi Olisa, thank you very much. The last paragraph is very unnecessary, but thank you so much, sir. We have Good Morning Mainland crew. For me, concerning Ajero, his ordeals in the hand of the government. Everybody can now see that the government is completely out to silence any dissenting voice. What is happening is pure intimidation and harassment. They do not have anything against him. The man is simply being used as a sacrificial lamb. I listened to some people and others shouting that Ajero is not bigger than the law. Yes, he's not. But has he broken any known capital law? The answer is no. What we are practicing today is hardly democracy, but an autocratic leadership. The harassment of Jᴏɪṛ is an harassment against all Nigerians. The government has failed in all ramifications. Things have fallen apart and the center can no longer hold. Victor Aloy from Ikeja is the author of that message. More messages on WhatsApp. Hi, Mainland FM. It's quite ironical that Fuhad is against military rule, and in reality, the government really knows is using this style indirectly by silencing civil society groups using the DSS. SERAP that has been helping us speak up now is being gagged using the same DSS. The government should please remember that the worst type of protest is the unannounced one. Look at the Arab Spring, which was spontaneous. Our president is the luckiest president in the world because we know that if this were another country, by now, many things would have happened. The mineral resources of this country is actually the problem. Why can't God just take out the resources and let's see if we will not look for another way to survive? Even insecurity will end as these resources is part of what fuels insecurity. Sean sent that particular message. I'll read this last one and move back to the phones, all right? Good morning, Sage. It's quite unfortunate that Jᴏɪṛ was intimidated by the DSS on his way to the United Kingdom. The invasion of the SERAP premises by the same security outfit seems very worrisome as well. Hope Nigeria is not under state capture under a supposed democratic government. No. Where the influence of political writers and activist lawyers, ethnicity and religion has been used by politicians to manipulate the citizens, thank God they've granted him bail, albeit temporary. Noah from Igondo. Thank you very much, Noah. Keep the messages coming in. We'll take them as the show progresses. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Sage, my name is Robert. About Fuhad. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
This issue of Aguero's arrest, I believe that everybody the government have the right to arrest, to invite anybody for questioning. The last time Aguero was invited, he honored the invitation. So, they still arrest him. He said if somebody is under investigation, he cannot travel out of the country. Was he banned not to travel out of the country? Aguero was not banned. They invited him for questioning, and he honored the invitation. He went there, and they released him that very day. Okay? And it's not a wanted. It's not like a Yaya Bello who is hiding. So I see no reason why Aguero should thank God they have released him. But on the other way too, I have Aguero and his MSC crew, because they represent Nigeria. They are fighting for the workers. I know not all the workers, not everybody. They are fighting mostly for government workers, minimum wage and rest. But that beside, when the president pronounced subsidy was gone, the day it was inaugurated, Aguero and his men were sleeping as we speak. That was the very first time they should have gone told. How will you say subsidy is gone when we don't have refinery? You cannot say subsidy is gone when we don't have refinery. Aguero is not a new person on this job now, for God's sake. And he knows the business that is going on in NNPC. Look at this Dangote refinery now. Businessmen in NNPC will not want it to work because they know that as soon as Dangote refinery starts to work, their importation will stop. But these are issues that are supposed to be fought. So why is Aguero sleeping since the day the president subsidy was called up to today? I don't understand. So all this drama that is going on between Aguero and government, I don't know. Maybe they are just playing to the gallery of the citizens. The other in solidarity forever for 70,000. The agreement he has claimed to sign. Why did he make it known for people to see?
Thank you. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, when he said that when somebody is on investigation, he is not allowed to do it. I don't know the statement that he was voting from. And I don't know the law code that said Joe is banned from traveling.
Hold on. I don't know why people choose to hear what they like to hear. When did I tell you that Joe Ajero was banned? When you are under investigation, hold on, and please let me speak. Hold on. When you're under investigation under certain circumstances, cases like murder, money laundering, terrorism, there is a restriction to your travel unless you inform the security operatives and you're allowed to leave the country. That's exactly what I said. So I don't understand how people interpret things. I don't know why you choose to hear what you want to hear.
Hello?
Go ahead. Say what you have to say, but don't misquote me. If you talk, say the fact.
If somebody is under investigation, I think the problem that it was there must be a court pronouncement. The court must say that yes, this body did. That is nothing like that. What can they ban it from going on?
Why do you keep saying the word a ban? Who says he was banned from traveling? Informed security operatives. See, please, we're not going to do a back and forth on a radio program. I'm not going to do that with you. All right. He was not banned from traveling. And I'm not speaking specifically to him. When you're under investigation, before you make foreign trips, you are to inform the security agencies, and then they know of your whereabouts, especially if you are considered something of a flight risk. This thing is very, very simple information that can be processed. I don't understand where the misconception is coming from. So maybe take a few minutes and process what I have said, understand it, and then let's have a conversation. Let's talk to somebody else, please. Hello. Hello, good morning. All right, please call back. Hello.
Lady Sage.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This is Joshua calling from Butemeta.
All right.
PDP, I have no sympathy for Ajero. Whatever the federal government wishes to do him, let them do. Ajero is not fighting for me. Ajero is not fighting for my family. And that for the poor masses. Ajero is only fighting solely for the workers. You understand? With the hardship in town today, the only organization I can even, okay, if we have to support financially, yes, I can support, is this syrup of people of it. These people are the ones showing the federal government, giving them ultimatum, and we're not even paying any attention to them, or even trying to see, okay, what do you people need? Maybe financially, in a way, because one, they've been running this thing with their own resources. You know, of course, I don't want President Tinubu to get into all this 괰괏ᴏᴏ fight with them. See, allow people to express themselves. President Tinubu and his Nabeko, the fourth military government, military, the fourth military government. This is a democracy now. Why is he trying to shut people up? Let people talk. You know, but personally, I don't believe President Tinubu is the one promoting all these things. I think there are some people who are so loyal to President Tinubu who are doing all these things on his behalf. I'm not sure, because one, the President Tinubu I know and the one I voted for, I still can't believe he's the one doing all these things, trying to silence everybody who wants to criticize his government. At least let people talk. This is democracy. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your opinion. Hello.
A very good morning to you, Babalola.
Good morning, Prince Wise.
My name is Prince Wise. Greeting you from Lagos Island.
You're not ready today, have you?
Babalola.
Yes.
I go to do that.
Hello? Hello? Oh, you might need to call us back, Prince Wise. We can barely hear you. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
We are
personal president says some of them are saying things for them because we have or whatever.
Thank you for your this request.
Who could be a flight risk if you're under investigation. The problem here, Sage, is yes, there are situations where people are restricted from traveling. I think Mʃɪɪṛ Iɪṛ for years was not allowed to leave the country, but there are processes to it. The problem with the Jᴏɪṛ case is that, look, for now, it was just an invitation. It was questioned. 30 minutes, he was allowed to go. There's a second invitation. And of course, one would expect that, look, DSS will say, oh, you have an invitation to appear before the police. You have a date with the police. And all of that, you know, he's been released on administrative bail. But before you can get to the point where the guy cannot travel at all, there are processes to it. They probably have to get a court injunction, really, stopping him from traveling. You know, it happened to Showore. In fact, there was time they restricted him to Abuja alone because of the case that I had. So the processes, you know, it's not just that, oh, because he's under investigation and all of that. But I think that why people are worried with development is that, look, while we're still chewing on that, the SERAP office was also raided. And then you begin to have some, worry in your mind as to what is exactly going on. If we're still talking about Jᴏɪṛ, the next moment there are DSS officials at the SERAP office. We still have protesters, numbers who are still there facing charge of treason because they protested against the government, So if you look at all of that and against it, you know that, look, there's trouble in our democracy.
Of course, I ban you from traveling. It's against your right of movement. But because of the severity of the cases, you are supposed to inform them. You're not asking for permission. I will not be around for this time, or I will not honor this invitation. And that's about it. So their action of arresting him might be considered wrong by legal. You're supposed to ask questions. You have not spoken to security operatives. It's the arrest that is questionable. But I'm just trying to make people understand that it's honestly only reasonable.
Look, if you speak with a DSS security operative, they will tell you, oh, we have this issue, this is what the law says, we have the right to stop this and all of that. I think the major thing for me now is to see where this is going to head.
Right.
He has a second invitation, I think, for next week or so. We'll see what happens after he honors that invitation. And if he has a case to answer, let him have his day in court.
Right.
And if the court now say, look, you cannot travel, he will not travel. But if he says, look, we have situations where they seize people's passports and they go to court again, file motions, and their passports are released to them and they are able to travel. So, but I think the Nigerian government has to be a bit careful with this Jᴏɪᴜ situation, because again, we don't want to get to the point where we begin to question, the efficacy of the rule of law when it comes to our democracy.
Right. Just to put it out there, Jᴏɪᴜ was not banned from traveling at all.
He has not even got it to that point.
Because I don't understand how people somehow interpreted that as me saying that he was banned from traveling.
The issue is when you said, when you are under investigation for certain crimes, cases, you can't travel until when you inform the security operatives.
You're supposed to. There are processes where you inform security operatives. That was a generic statement. And then they sort of equated that to...
But the problem again is that, look, people are going to raise concerns as to the nature of these invitations. Look, if you invited somebody for terrorism financing and he came to you and in 30 minutes you question him and he left, people are going to begin to say, are you guys serious? I was telling one of my guys yesterday, Sage, before, in some of these other countries, before the police knocks at your door, the case is sorted. As at the time they are knocking at your door, the next moment you are having your day in court. But here, this is a place where you arrest people. You now see the security operative going to court demanding for more time to investigate a case that they've arrested people for. So it's a bit untidy, really. I think our security operatives should get their acts together and work in a more methodical way so that some of these issues will not be problematic.
Right. Let's take more phone calls and then read Facebook messages. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Madam.
Yes, good morning.
How are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah, this case of the Labour president, Mr. Jᴏɪᴜ, I don't know why people are saying that I'm from Ojo, Lagos, that he should face his matters or whatever. Do you remember that the man is the president himself of the Nigerian Labour Congress? That it's not good to walk the tail of the leopard, the lion, at a time like this. Are they trying to contribute to the peace of the nation or to cause more trouble? Would you think that the labor officials or workers entirely will put their arms and allow their head to be rough-handled or insulted or molested? So we are looking for a way to have more peace in the country, not to cause more harm or trouble. I don't, the DSS is acting ultra-vires. You follow my point? They're showing high-handedness to show that Nigeria is a lawless place. That is, stopping the man from traveling is a way of intimidating him and then making mess of his fundamental human rights. It's never done anyway. The court should have given injunction that this man should not travel. If the DSS has anything incriminating on the labor leader, you should go to court and obtain injunction. That's why we have the courts. That's why we have judges who should look into the matter. It is not for the DSS or the police to interpret the law. The courts are there to do that. So the government should mellow down on the issue of this labor leader at the time like this, so that we don't have more fuel to fire. That's my little contribution for the oil sector. The president is the minister of petroleum. So whatever happens here, we hold him responsible. There are cabals there and the oil sector. We don't need to be told that are causing us harm. Before we were paying 100 naira for my plate to my tooth. Now it's 1,000 naira. Who can bear it? You remember what Lincoln said? That it's better to die than to live without freedom. The government has pushed us to the wall. You can't do anything again in Nigeria without paying a very high price. No food, there's food inflation, no drugs for the sick, no petroleum products here and there, and you can't pay children's school fees. What are we living for? Are we slaves in our country? This thing should stop because Nigeria will be collected from whatever we can for and holding it. All citizens here are not slaves. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your input. Hello.
Hello, good morning. Mrs. Babalola.
Yes, good morning to you.
Good morning, for this Mr. James from Agbado Junction.
You're welcome, sir.
My wife once told me that our time talking to the situation of the country is just like a wasted time because people that we are talking to are not even paying attention to all what we are saying. Now, take for instance, the National Assembly is supposed to be the one to call Mr. President to order, especially when he's doing something that is inimical to the people. The judiciary is supposed to be there to administer justice. What is it called? All these sectors that are supposed to work for the interest of people are not doing anything. Okay, now you invaded the rap office. You arrested JᴏɪＲ. I mean, considering what has been going on in the country, Jonathan signed the FOI into law about a few years back. And Nigeria rejoiced over it so that everybody can have a say without having any molestation. Look at the protesters. They've been declared to have committed treasonable felony. Now you find out that they want to gag. So give you some little time, the media will also be gagged too. They will now be giving you what you will say and what you will not say. You find out that we don't know where. We don't want it to get to the extent of, according to the Bible in the book of First Kings chapter 12, where they say, "My father chastised you with whip, but I will chastise you with scorpion." Like Buhari ruled us with bad governance, but I will make Nigeria a living hell, so that we get to a situation where that phrase, "To attempt for Israel, to attempt for Nigeria," I don't want it to get to that level. And if this man doesn't do anything now, we will get to that level. Thank you and have a beautiful morning.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see Facebook messages. We have here John Bernard Ohi, who says, "Good morning, Sage and Fuad. It's like this man is taking us back to military days. He needs to be careful with the way he's running the country." Prince Leo Ozoma says, "Good morning, Sage and Fuad. My annoyance in all of this impunity is that nobody is punished severely for causing such embarrassment to the country by the security agencies. Ajero has been deprived from attending the scheduled international engagement, and we've moved on. Again, any availability of fuel that is not affordable rather, is wickedness to the masses and incompetency on the side of the government. Otherwise, we have crude oil and 4 existing refineries, yet not a single one is working. There's more to this than meet the eyes." We have Oluwanoa Taiwo, who says, "Good morning, mainlanders. Is this the democracy we fought for our lives? Whereas as the civilian..." I don't know what you're trying to tell me here, but I'll go to the next paragraph. "I don't believe this present president knows how to lead. He's just ruling us, and this foundation he's laying for other politicians will come to haunt us later. It's sad where we found ourselves in the country." We have Chris Nwalim, who says, "Good morning, Sage and Fuad. The major challenge we have in the country today is incompetence and prodigality in leadership. There's a lack of empathy for the suffering masses, and the litany of lies being perpetrated by Tinubu and his team of sycophants and bootlickers who are totally disconnected from the plight of the downtrodden Nigerian. If we cry out, they go after you. Nigerians should be resilient in crying out until this administration fulfill their campaign promises. Where's the renewed hope you promised Nigerians? We're in a democracy." Thank you very much. Basil Chika says, "Joe Ajaro's arrest and subsequent release without delay speaks volumes, and I believe it was because of the urgent outcry and the threats from the NLC that made the government to soft pedal. So if Nigerians can borrow from the trajectory, we shall liberate ourselves and the country from these political predators once and for all. Secondly, on Dangote and NNPC at loggerhead, I think Nigerians will brace for tougher times ahead because more stiffer obstruction is coming until we say no to bad leaders." Chika Bende from Trade Fair. All right. Joshua Andover says, "Good morning. I'm Joshua from Oregon. I just want to say this. If we fail to come together and fight the evil going on in the country, we might be heading to worse days. Just last month, we called for protest against bad governance. It was Joe Ajaero that came out to distance himself from the protest. Now he's facing what he distanced himself from. About PMS, it's the same thing Dangote has been lamenting about what NNPC has been doing to him. It has gotten public sentiment. He went back and met the NNPC to conspire against the people. We're not serious in the country. We just don't know what to do." Lukman Oladipupo says, "I'm Mr. Lukman from Dakar, Senegal. Nobody can rule Nigeria." Okay, you sent this message earlier. Thank you very much. John Benjamin says, "Good morning, Sage and Fuad. Tinubu's led administration is on a mission to silence opposition and nothing else. Thank you and have a wonderful day." All right. Kabiru Adegbenru says, "Good morning, Madam Sage. Nigerians are wise. Fuel scarcity is deliberate. It's an action by the NNPCL. May God bless the country." Onotoyi Temitope Michael says, "Hello, Mainland FM. Let's be realistic. If truly we're practicing democracy, I feel there are better ways to address it. We should invite for questioning, and going about to make arrest of selected people for the government can be regarded as anti-government, simply because they are not in agreement with some of the policies and the way the people are being governed. To me, what he's simply telling Nigerians is to remain adamant and continue to die in silence. Is this a true democracy? On the part of PMS, where it is the way it's looking, as we have been told, that domestic products may be higher than imported products, is nothing but a terrible propaganda full of deceit, in which Dangote and the federal government are just playing on the intelligence of millions of Nigerians. The government of APC, who said they will build one refinery every year, should focus on repairing our 4 national refineries so that we can enjoy the dividend of democracy even as an oil-producing nation. May God bless Nigeria. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yes, Prince Wise. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you. God bless you. You see, about for me, it's no case at all. The more I just begin to dramatize what is going on between himself and yes. When they invited you as a responsible leader, a patriotic leader, it doesn't take you 2 days or 3 days. Go to them with your lawyer. The other time they were invited, he took it that he will present himself. Within a couple of hours, he was off. He back to his office. But this time around, another person against you. But that's to go there. If you love your country very well, you are not part of the country to represent Nigeria. The country want to represent it. You honor them. You respect their security. You will trump as it is.